Hi guys, it's Frankie from Frankie Watch. Good to see you all again, and today I want to bring a special comparison. Rolex Submariner reference 124060 next to my green OP, my beloved green OP, the Oyster Perpetual 41mm reference 124300. And guys, there is a lot to consider between these two watches because there's a lot of similarities, but there's also a lot of ways these watches are different, and why I do think this may represent the ultimate two-watch Rolex collection. So let's not waste any time and have a look. So let's get the specs out of the way so we can talk more about the experience of how these wear and which one I think may be right for you. So starting of course with the main dimension, both of these watches are 41 millimeters. We have a 47.6 versus 47.5 lug to lug, and we have a 21 millimeter Oyster seal bracelet on both of these, and here you can see you have a very different clasp on both of these. In terms of thickness, we do have 12.5 millimeters next to 12 millimeters. Both of these are super slim watches on the wrist, and while they are very different, I think there's a lot to love about both of these watches. Let's start of course with the OP, because this, guys, still represents, in my opinion, my favorite watch. There's just something about the look of this watch with this gorgeous green lacquer dial. You can see it is just absolutely stunning to look at. Now, of course, in this lighting, it's going to change colors depending on the angle. Here, it's looking a little bit more of a dark green, but if you turn it towards the light, there you see it's a much lighter tone. You have this domed bezel, which is a scratch magnet, guys. I've gotten a couple scratches, but all in all, guys, it is still such a comfortable watch on the wrist. It does wear a little bit flat, but because the case has these nice curves, I do think this is one of the sleekest 41mm watches you can pick up. And as you guys know, the price on these has gone a bit nuts. This watch does retail for under $6,000 US dollars, but you cannot pick this watch up for that price anymore. With trading prices of over $15,000, even $17,000, $18,000, the OPs truly have taken off, and I don't think that they're coming down significantly anytime soon. And so the real question, I think, is if the OPs are going for this much, you can pretty much pick up a sub. And in this case, it's the no-date Submariner version 124060 for almost the same amount of money. We're definitely used to paying more for the Submariner, but these OPs are a recent phenomenon. And I'm glad I got in before they got really crazy in price. But there is something about this watch, the way it wears. It is just so nice on the wrist. While the Submariner does have a bit more of a substantial feel, of course, it does have 300 meters water resistance. It's got the Serichrome bezel and the iconic sub looks. This really, truly is the icon of icons in watchmaking. And so if you're really going for that one watch collection, this may be the better option over the OPs. But another thing to consider is the movement. Yes, both of these watches are using the Rolex 3230. It is their latest no-date movement, the new Chronenergy escapement, and increased efficiency, which allows for that 70 hours of power reserve. I've been loving it on my green OP. It is easily one of the best movements that you can get in a Rolex watch, and I'm just glad to have it on both of these, so that really doesn't need to be a consideration when you're weighing between these two watches. Now, of course, there are benefits to the sub. You do have the glide lock system in the clasp here, while the OP is just using the Easy Link system. You also have, of course, the increased water resistance on the sub, 300 meters versus 100 meters. So if you are diving with this watch, that is definitely something you'll want to consider. And of course, both of these watches are using Chromalite, the Lume, blue Lume from Rolex, and it lasts all night, guys. Now, I gotta say, the Lume on the Submariner is super impressive. And I would say it's better in terms of application than on the OP. The hour markers are larger on the sub, and you have a lot more Lume in the Mercedes hands, and just in the Lume pip on the bezel as well. And here's my wrist shot of the no-date Submariner on my 7.5-inch wrist. I think it looks pretty good, guys. I'm pretty happy with how it wears. And yes, it is a bit broad, but if you have 7+ inch wrists, it's going to wear perfectly. But of course, the green OP is still amazing. I think it's a far sleeker look and a far dressier look as well. And as you can see on the wrist, they both wear very slim. honestly, you won't really notice that much thickness difference between these two. So wrapping up, folks, with this quick comparison between the Rolex Submariner No Date and the Oyster Perpetual 41mm, which would you pick? I mean, there's a lot of things to consider here. I think if you are looking for the iconic style, the iconic watch in a Rolex Submariner, you've pretty much made up your choice and you're not even comparing between these two. But there's something to be said about these OPs. They are really special. They have struck a chord beyond just watch enthusiasts into casual collectors and even people who don't know watches. I've had more people comment on my OP green dial than my Submariner. I think this is pretty much standard. People are used to seeing this, but when they see the green dial OP, they just ask, wow, where did you get that? Or, wow, amazing watch. I'm waiting for one as well. They really have struck a chord, especially in this 41mm size, and so I do think there is an argument to be made that the Green OP 41mm is still a better choice than the No Date Submariner. But the way I see it, folks, this, for me, represents just the ultimate two-watch Rolex collection at the moment. Both of these are very different, and yet they both bring something that I really appreciate to the table: the iconic Submariner looks and this sleek, beautiful, and colorful look of the Green OP. I can't think of a better two-watch Rolex collection for now than this. But hit me up in the comments: Submariner No Date or Rolex Oyster Perpetual 41mm. Which of these two would you pick? Hit me up in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. And that's it for this video. If you liked it, give me that thumbs up. And if you love the content of Frankie Watch, subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell icon for future updates. Thanks everyone for the support, and I do appreciate it as we move towards 700 subscribers here on Frankie Watch. I'm so excited to see where this channel goes next. So that's it, and this is Frankie Watch saying, time's up. I love them both, guys, in their own different ways. Oh yeah.